Hello viewers, today I'm going to talk to you about corporations. Now, what are corporations? Corporations are companies. Not just companies, but companies that control the world. Gigantic, huge, enormous companies that are based all over this entire planet. Companies that in turn do control the government. The government really only passes laws. These corporations and companies, while having money and shoving it into your senator or bureaucrats' pockets and telling them what to do. Sure, the government makes the laws, but they pass them, but really the corporations are telling them what to do. That's how the world is running. Even though you don't think it's happening, but I would say at least half of the people in Congress are being paid off. Secretly, of course. The president probably may be being paid off too, in a very hush hush kind of way. Have these corporations always been this powerful? Yeah, pretty much. Ever since we really started having mega companies, such as Coke, for example, then yes, these corporations have been extremely, extremely powerful. And as the future rolls around, of course, corporations, what they want to do is they want to get ahead of their competition. By getting ahead of your competition, there's things you can do, which is you could try some sort of espionage, which is spying, of course, but on other companies, seeing infiltrating their workforce, seeing what other technologies working your way up through the ranks and secretly passing it on to your company. That that too. But in the future, I see corporations actually involved in war. Today they're involved in war. Of course, that's a stock war, rather a corporate war, but I mean a literal war in the future. Because as resources get more scarce and technology gets more advanced, then yes, I could see corporations being involved in a literal war in the future. And what can the government do to stop them? They can't really do anything, because corporations are drafting their military and their weapons, their guns. The government really can't do anything. Corporations run our world today, not necessarily the government. Not to say the government doesn't have any power, but they don't have too much power. Anyway, these corporations, they, in a sense, make our world tick. They do. They fix prices, they control everything in secret. They fix gas prices. They're probably behind the disappearance of Flight 370. They're probably behind the landslide that just happened in Washington State. Even though this may sound very insane and absurd, but if we were to think to all the terrible things that happened in history, like let's think about 9/11. Everyone thinks, okay, 9/11 done by terrorists, fine, but it was an inside job. Come on, it was. It was an inside job. There's no way that building would have fallen like that. There had to be something, maybe explosive, I don't know, but that was an inside job. There's no way 9/11 was done like that. And what happened after 9/11? The US government bought all the property around it. Because, of course, the real estate prices went way down because obviously two buildings just collapsed from planes. So, have we let corporations get too much power? Probably, but there really isn't anything we can do to stop them because they can do whatever they want pretty much and please, as long as they keep on making our consumer goods to keep us in the dark. Such as Apple, okay, create computers, tablets, phones, keep us away from their actual purposes, their intentions. And in a sense, they are brainwashing us. They are brainwashing us. They're taking over our minds using technology, in a sense. And eventually, in the future, rather than using an electronic device, everyone's going to get a neural implant, which will allow you to, do everything. And that would be even worse because, of course, your phone's going to get hacked. That's not necessarily that's a given. Any phone can be hacked, really. But neural implants, you could that's smart, attaching it to your lobe, which controls pretty much everything, every advanced action you make. So they could destroy it completely, fry it, make half the population or more just a bunch of zombies, or two, they could just do as they please. They could just take over our minds, make us work for their companies, drive up their stock prices, really anything that they wanted to. But this is far in the future. This is not something that's going to happen tomorrow. This I'm talking 2070 maybe, something like that. And corporations are tied in directly with the system. And by the system, I mean the right of school, the self-governing, how society views things, how we look at things in general, pretty much. Of course, the system at school teaches you to be in line with the crowd, not to be completely different, not necessarily not to be unique, but not to be different from the crowd, to always follow. It teaches you to get a standing 9 to 5, or not necessarily a 9 to 5 job, but a nice standing job so you can kind of maintain your life. It doesn't teach you how to be millionaires, billionaires. Of course not. School doesn't do that. Business school might, but school doesn't. Rather than rather than them wanting us to reach for the stars, they want us to reach for the McDonald's burger. It's their it's their job to keep us in the dark as people. It's their job to suppress us completely. It's their job that when a nail sticks up, they take their hammer and push it and hammer it down into place until it can never ever come out again. This can be done by many ways. You can abduct them, put them in some remote place, you can kill them, or you can just, yeah, that's basically about it. Or you can just blackmail them, bribe them, whatever else. So, when corporations are tied in directly with the system, we're we aren't even free. This country is not free, despite what our Constitution says. America isn't even free. No one's free in this entire world. Everyone's born a slave. Literally, everyone's born a slave. Everyone is born a slave. Because, of course, a free country would mean you could do anything. No, that's not possible. Because they don't want it to be possible. That's exactly why. Why would they improve their lives? They just want to improve their standings of their credit and pocketbook. That's all they want to do. Sorry. That's all they really want to do is just prove their own standing. What other influences do corporations have on our lives? Well, they also influence the media very heavily. They control basically almost everything you see, if not everything you see. Everything on TV, all the commercials, all the food, all the things that make you hungry, everything. And of course, they want to keep you in control. They want to keep the people subdued. They want to keep us from reaching our true intellectual potential. That's why they want to legalize marijuana. That's why they want to legalize blah blah blah. That's why they have fast food. That's why they have a lot of things. That's why they have guns. They have shooting ranges. They want people to be in such a state of, I guess, euphoria or a high or something along the lines of that they don't realize what's really going around them. They're just in that moment for the now. Because to be honest, most people really don't think about this. They really don't think about what's happening. They don't think about that. How was the concept of math ever invented? How did we come up with measurements for every single thing? How did measurement even start? How did we do this? How did the concept of time ever happen? How did we develop months? How did we name them? How does anyone think of that besides me? Pretty sure there's a few people out there. But as I said, the the dying our dying breed of intelligence is coming, and then the mediocre or the lesser of the stock are coming through, because corporations obviously don't want smart people like us to realize, oh, wow, we're controlling everything. Huh. Well, they know that, and then they might start a revolution. Hmm. Yeah, I can't let that happen. Obviously, corporations don't want that. That's not in their best interest. Anything to do, really, with the people is not in their best interest. All they care about is probably bribing the government officials, keeping all forms of crime open, keep us distracted in a sense. Why do you think the government has eliminated crime? Because it's a distraction. Because people want that sort of thing. They want drugs. They want prostitution. They want really a lot of things. There's a reason why everything is there. For the corporations and the government keep us subdued and away from the intellectual light, so to speak. They want us to stay completely away from, well, every everything. They don't want us to find the light. They don't want us to get self-educated. They don't want us to find out what they're really doing. Of course they don't. No, no, no. They don't want that. They don't want that. That's why as I said earlier, in the future, we corporations could actually be waging war, and a literal war, I mean, too, with using weapons. A literal war. So the word hostile takeover may become a literal term in the future. If if we were to peel back history from the beginning, maybe at the beginning of time humans weren't so oppressed because our brains are still developing and there really isn't technology to distract us, whatever else, yada yada yada. But then, out of all of the blue, the idea of religion came. How did this come, I wonder? How did these ideas of anything really come to suppress us and subdue us? And then how did we invent alcohol? I'm thinking there is obviously something at work that in the future that there was, I don't know, some mega corporation that has invented a time machine, or perhaps I don't think that's fate. Because if we haven't discovered drugs, we hadn't invented alcohol, where would we be today? Or we hadn't even thought of religion, I think this world would be so much better place if we had invented religion. Thought up with it as an excuse to live our lives, an explanation for everything that goes on that we can't explain. Think about that. Would we? How would we be today? Would corporations still have as much power? Maybe not. Maybe not. So I just want you to think about this, viewers, before I part with you, that you're never free. You're always under some sort of oppression. You're always somewhere in, well, a jam, I guess you could say. So thanks for watching, viewers.